Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush forward. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. LA can run inside the 10. Head first. He dives off the 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
There's also Brian Clady and Bob Miller. Third and long 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown. Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, the truth, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, before I get into topics, just want to hope that everybody had a wonderful Merry Christmas and happy holidays. And this will be the last show before 2023. So everybody out there, have a wonderful, safe New Year day and weekend. Wish you all the best and hope that 2023 Broncos season is much better than this one. That's for sure. All right, let's get into it. Oh, boy. Last Christmas, it was joyous at my house with the grandkids and all that. Not so much for the Denver Broncos against the LA Rams. The 4-10 Broncos went up against the 4-10 reigning Super Bowl champion LA Rams. Wow. Unbelievable. Here it is. If anyone in Broncos country was expecting a Christmas present by way of a Broncos win, no. The Grinch stole that one. Absolutely stole that one. Not only that, but listen to this. The Rams never punted in the game. They scored on every single possession and 2 pick six. Are you kidding me? This Broncos defense, the way they played all year, averaging 17 points given up the entire season on average. And they gave, by the way, did I tell you what the final score was? I didn't, not yet. Yeah. When was the last time you heard a Bronco team give up 50 plus points? How about the Super Bowl against the 49ers, 55-10? Oh, I remember that one. This one was 51-14. And the 14 wasn't even close. That was garbage time at the end. 51 points on this Broncos defense. You think they gave up on Hackett? You think they gave up on the coaching staff? You think they gave up on the season? Of course they did. Of course they did. And it showed. A Rams team with, what was his name? Baker Mayfield as a quarterback? Look like Peyton Manning? Or Tom Brady? Seriously? Yeah, I got more to say about what has transpired since that loss. I know you guys have heard the news. I know you've read the tweets and the Twitter's reports, and you've heard it from friends and sporting news and whatnot. That's all well and good. I commend you for doing that. I mean, that's what we are as sports fans. We listen to anything and everything we can. I'm just going to bring my comments along the way. All right. So obviously, I just said what the final score was 51-14. That is absolutely embarrassing. This Broncos team totally gave up. Totally gave up. When you can't stop the other team from scoring, and they even score on pick six, yeah, the team had given up. Absolutely had given up. Let me continue. It gets worse. Randy Gregory has been fined by the NFL for his unsportsmanship-like conduct and unnecessary roughness following the Broncos-Rams game. So what happened was, after the game, Randy Gregory goes up to Oday Abushi. Now, they've been struggling. I don't know. I mean, offensive lineman Oday Abushi for the Rams is going up against Randy Gregory. So there's going to be some trash talking. There's going to be some exchanging of words, pleasantries, if you don't mind. Yeah, right. And at the end of the game, frustration comes out, because when you lose 51-14 to a team that has the same record as you, and they have a backup quarterback in Baker Mayfield, or was it Minshew? No. Anyways, they had a backup quarterback. And Russell Wilson is a Broncos quarterback. He's much better than those guys. Well, has been years past. There's frustration. You're going to take it out on players that are spouting out whatever they're spouting out. So Gregory took offense to this, and he started the altercation. And Bronco players came in and they tried to. This is after the game when, coaches are shaking hands saying, hey, let's have a better year next year or whatever, or Merry Christmas. I hope it's better for you than it was for the game. I don't know what they're saying, but they're exchanging pleasantries, so to speak. Well, Gregory exchanged pleasantries too, just not the same kind of way you're supposed to. So there's pushing and there's shoving, and the flags fly and the whole bit. Anyways, the NFL fined Randy Gregory $50,000 for starting it, and Abushi only $12,000. Now, he retaliated, but he didn't really go into it as aggressively as Gregory did. Gregory was upset about something, and of course that wasn't brought out. But you can't do that. And I know the frustration is there. I absolutely know the frustration there. And there's even more frustration on the sidelines. See, that was after the game. Gregory and Abushi was after the game. What I'm about to tell you happened during the game. And this is what happens when teams are losing. When there's no leadership in the locker room from a head coach, or there's no leadership on the field, there's no continuity. There's no togetherness. And I don't mean hugging and stuff. I'm talking about, teamwork. I got your back, you got my back kind of thing. Well, one player on the Broncos did have another player's back. And here it is. Frustration on the sidelines. Dalton Reisner shoved backup quarterback Brett Rippon because Rippon gave Reisner a piece of his mind about no lineman could be troubled to pick up Wilson after he had multiple sacks. So basically what Brett Rippon was saying is this: hey, our quarterback's getting knocked down. You're the offensive lineman. You didn't protect him. You didn't have his back when he's back there trying to make a play, and you walk away and don't pick him up. I'm not saying that's what he said. I'm paraphrasing. I'm saying something like that, obviously, because it says right here that Rippon said, hey, Russell Wilson's been knocked down, and you have no mindset to go over and pick him up. That's your quarterback. And with that, after Reisner pushed Rippon, then Latavius Murray followed up by pushing Reisner, because Reisner pushed Rippon. Latavius Murray is protecting his backup quarterback. Guys, this is ugly. This is not Bronco football. This is not Bronco Nation. Never Nation. Broncos country that doesn't approve of this. I don't know if you guys do. Maybe you guys want to see some passion and emotion. I do too, just not this way, because this is dysfunctional, guys. This is not cohesiveness. This is not spokes in a wheel that's working together, working correctly. No, none whatsoever. This is out of control. And I'll get into a possible solution in my upcoming topics. But guys, when you have offensive linemen pushing a quarterback who's saying, hey, how come you don't go out there and pick up Russell Wilson? He's your quarterback. There's going to be pushing and shoving. There's going to be frustration. There's going to be anger. That is not what makes a championship team. Now, I'm not saying the Broncos are a championship team at 4-10. Heck no. We're now 4-11. No, not at all. But you can't have this happen. This is an unraveling team right now. This team is absolutely unraveled. Completely unraveled. And it's not getting any better. Ooh. Possibly it could. All right. Okay. So after Latavius Murray followed up by pushing Reisner then shouted at Rippon, do something, Rip, end quote. Do what? What does Reisner want Brett Rippon to do? He's not the quarterback on the field at the moment. What does he want? What does he want him to do? Stand up for himself? I don't know. Just interesting how, and I know a lot of people make more of a big deal than it should be, but when it's captured on video and you see it, I mean, how else? I mean, pictures don't lie. Videos don't lie. So there's totally dysfunctional situation going on in Denver right now. And it's not a good thing. All right. Before I go on, Bubba Gonzalez says, hello. Nice to have you in the house, Bubba. Always good. Always good to have you. Mohammed Badri says, good evening, Bronco Bill. Good evening to you. Happy New Year upcoming. Bubba says, hey, Bill, how's it going? It's going great. I'm looking forward to 2023 Broncos season, obviously. Looking forward to that. Happy New Year as well to you, D-Rock. Always great to have you in the house. Happy New Year to you, your family. Thanks for coming and chiming in. Always appreciate it. And then D-Rock says, Mobad, sup, dude. Jessica's Mobad says, sup, Bubba. So there you go, guys. Thanks for being in the house. Always appreciate it. Okay. Now, Nathaniel Hackett. After a 51-14 loss and the entire team gives up on your head coach, something has to change. And that is, on Monday, Nathaniel Hackett was relieved from his duties as the Broncos head coach. In other words, guys, yes, he was fired. After the loss to the LA Rams, the Walton Penner ownership group fired Hackett on Monday, December 26th. They had seen enough, and the final straw was the embarrassing performance against the Rams. Absolutely. Now, both Greg Penner and George Payton both said that they gave Nathaniel Hackett more, they gave Nathaniel Hackett more leash and were very, very patient with him because they were in hopes that things would turn around. Well, we all were. Well, maybe not after week 1 when he totally botched that up, and then other games that he botched up. But then he brought in Jerry Rosberg, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But he brought in Jerry Rosberg to be there for game management because Hackett had no clue what he was doing. Absolutely no freaking clue what he was doing. Now, do I condone, or do I wish, I should say not condone, but do I wish that a person loses their job? No, I don't like to see anybody lose their job, especially when they have a wife or a family to take care of. But when you are given a job and a position to perform and you interview accordingly that you can do it, and that production isn't there, no, you're not going to keep your job. Now, sure, certain jobs, certain unions and whatnot, they protect. I understand it. We're talking about a head coach. I heard somebody say, I can't remember who it was. It was a head coach. I'm not sure exactly, so I'm not going to quote who it was or say who it was. But I heard that when a coach is hired, they are hired to get fired. Now, that to me is not job security. But you keep your job by doing well, by doing what you're supposed to, win games, have leadership, direct the players in the way they're supposed to go, what they're supposed to do, hire coaches that do the same thing. And I'll get into that in a little bit as well. But you cannot constantly have botched games, 10-9, 14-10, 14-9, just games that are lost. Sure. Okay. I know people are going to say what I'm about to say. I know they're going to say, well, wait a minute. Broncos had a lot of close games that they could have won. Well, they were one-score games. Yeah, but they lost them. Minnesota Vikings have been in 11 games, one-score games, 11 of them. And guess what, guys? They've won all 11, including the greatest comeback in NFL history, down 33-0 at halftime. Would that be the Denver Broncos that could come back from that? No, are you kidding me? Seriously? No. They may have been in one-score games, but they're on the losing side of one-score games. And when you're the head coach of the team, you're going to take the fall. Just like a captain on a ship is going to have to take the fall. That's just what happens. So Nathaniel Hackett is out with 2 games left to go in the Bronco 2022 NFL season. Am I glad? Well, I don't want to sit here and go, yeah, rah, 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 I'm so glad. No, I'm not going to do that. But I also know that I welcome it because I want a coach that will be a leader. Not a huggy kind of guy. Rah, 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 we just got to get better. No freaking kidding. I want a coach to go in there and say, this is what's happening. We're making changes. We're going to do this. It's not going to be like it was before. And we are going to get on a mindset of winning games. And we're going to do it the correct way. We're going to work hard. And we're not going to take any days off. That's what I want. I want a Mike Shanahan, Bill Belichick kind of attitude. I want a coach that comes in here and lays down the law, gets respect from the players, will go through a brick wall for the players, and not some guy who says, well, we just got to get better. And it starts with me. And it never did. That's why Hackett is gone. That's why he's gone. I wish him the best. I hope he gets another job somewhere. I'm not sure he's going to get a head coach job somewhere, but I wish him all the best. I really do. And, some of the players came out. Russell Wilson said, oh, I just wish I could play better. Of course, everybody's going to say that. They're not going to say, well, I can't stand the guy. Everybody loved him because he was a buddy guy. Buddies don't win in the NFL. You know the old saying, nice guys finish last? Well, look at Hackett. He's a nice guy. Where are the Broncos? Right. Last. All right. Okay. Let's see. Bubba says, about time Nathaniel's gone. Thank you. He should have been gone way earlier than this time of season. I totally agree. Totally agree. But like I said, the Walton Penner group as well as George Payton got together and they weighed in on patience. They didn't want to do this, guys. They really didn't want to do this. They were hoping it would work out. We all were hoping it would work out. And I think it's because the Broncos were in close games for the most part, and they also beat the Arizona Cardinals handily with ripping. I feel that's why they hung on. And then when you get blown out 51-14, they looked at each other and said, holy smokes. Nope, this ain't getting any better. We have to make a change. And that's exactly what they did. Okay, now, let's see. D-Rock says the two glaring offseason needs are head coach and offensive line. Are you talking about offensive line coach or offensive line? Because I agree both. And I'll get into our offensive line coach as well. Head coach, absolutely. Offensive line coach, absolutely. Offensive line, oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm just not sure it's going to happen in the draft because we don't have a first round, guys. That goes to Seattle. We don't have a second round. Oh, that's right. That also goes to Seattle. Well, we do have a first round. Take it back. We get it from the 49ers, but it might be, I don't know, way down in the 20s at this point. So I think that's, we might have to get it in a trade, although we don't have too much trade bait. Maybe a free agent that we pick up for offensive line. I know that there's a couple of high commodity free agent linemen that already went to other teams, re-signed with their team. Sorry, guys. So they're off the board. So, yeah, I just say I agree with D-Rock. It's gonna have to be free agents. Absolutely. Because I absolutely don't see us getting anything solid. Although you never know. You could pick up a really good top player that falls, to the third or fourth round or whatever. You never know. I mean, and I know that this is apples and oranges, but you look at Tom Brady, he fell to the sixth round. And look what he turned out to be. Now, that's just much different than offensive lineman. I get it. But I'm just saying, you never know. It's a crapshoot, guys. It's really a crapshoot. So unless it's done in free agency, you're really taking a chance in the draft. And hopefully Denver can get some linemen. Because if not, Wilson isn't going to last even next year. I mean, that's a given. He's not even going to last through next year. All right. Okay. Let's see. I move on. Sorry, I got this little tickle. I hate this. All right. Broncos move on from Hackett, and they sign an interim head coach. Now, their first person they wanted there was Evero, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. Now, Evero, he's probably going to be sought out as a head coach after the season's done. There's no doubt in my mind. So he turned it down and said, you know what? I just want to take the last two games of the season and be the defensive coordinator. So Walton Penner Group, along with George Payton, went to their number two guy. And here that guy is. General Manager George Payton and CEO Greg Penner met and asked defensive coordinator Evero to be the interim head coach. Evero turned it down, stating that he wanted to stay with the Broncos as a defensive coordinator. Excuse me, guys. The ownership then turned to Jerry Rose. Wait a minute, that name's familiar. Jerry Roseberg. Yes, the same Jerry Roseberg who Hackett hired to manage the game as game manager. So Jerry Roseberg is now the interim head coach, and he accepted. Roseberg was hired by Hackett to oversee game management around week 5. Roseberg, after he was once hired as the interim head coach, fired special teams coordinator Dwayne Stoops and offensive line coach Butch Berry. Wow. Now, wait a minute. If he was just appointed or hired as the interim head coach, and within hours, he fires Stooks and Barry, did he have that authority from the ownership group? Oh, of course he did. Of course he did. He's not just going to come in there with 2 games left and go, okay, see ya, you're gone. Okay, you're gone. By the way, I'm looking around the room. No, he's not going to do that without having authority. So, what does that tell you? What does that tell me? I tell you what it tells me. That tells me that the special teams, and we all know special teams has not been that good. Obviously, when you make a fair catch on your own 10-yard line when you should let the ball go, that's on the special teams coach. And the offensive line, oh my gosh. Do I even need to get into that? Russell Wilson has been harassed and sacked more than any other quarterback in the NFL. And that's not primarily 100% on him not being able to get out of the pocket. It's because he has no time. Offensive line, you know what? My grandson could go through the offensive line, and he's 11. Of course, I'm being facetious, guys, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, when you're that bad and that pathetic, of course you got to fire the offensive line coach because it's not working. How come Hackett didn't fire him? Because they're Hackett's buddies. Just like Evero. Evero is a Hackett buddy. I think, in my own opinion, now he didn't say that. Evero didn't say this, but I think, in my own opinion, he didn't want it. He didn't want the interim head coach because that was his buddy's job, Hackett. And he didn't want to step on toes, so to speak. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that was Evero's opinion. That's my opinion. Okay? It's my opinion. But it makes sense. But even though Rosberg was appointed or hired by Hackett, Rosberg didn't care. I mean, he didn't really have any ties to Hackett other than, coming in and managing the team, basically, because Hackett didn't know what he's doing. So Rosberg, go back to Rosberg, okay? And his firing of Stooks and Barry. I think it was brilliant. You have to start over. You have to. And another thing I like about what Rosberg came in and said on his presser, it was a question that was asked to him, and they said, are you gonna have the headset on? Are you gonna be calling plays or what? He goes, no. He goes, I'm gonna be managing the team and managing the coordinators. They have their job to do, and they know they're held accountable. I have my job to do, and I'm gonna be held accountable. That's what I love about this guy. He is coming in and laying down the law, basically saying, hey, things are going to change. They're going to be different. Now, he also said that if there's a play that comes in his head that he wants to run, he may call it. It's his choice. He's head coach. But he's going to leave the offensive play calling to Clint Kubiak and the defensive play calling to Evero. He may chime in from time to time. He's got that authority. Absolutely. But he's not going to just come in there and just take over. That's not what he's going to do. There's only 2 games left. But one thing I loved about what he said, and a question was asked about practice. Now, on practice, I guess the question was, on practice on, such and such a day, they come in shorts. They come in, no pads, maybe just a helmet, but no pads. Is that what it's going to be? And Rosberg said, no. You don't play games on Sunday in shorts and no pads. You play games in full uniform, and that's how practice is going to be. Because if you want to practice this, if you want to play a game on Sunday in full pads and full uniform, then you need to practice in full pads and full uniform. And that's exactly what I want in a head coach. Now, is Rosberg going to be the head coach in 2023? 99% chance, no. But I like the direction he's given this team already. You're going to be held accountable, guys, for what you do or don't do. And we are not playing games here. The last 2 games, I want you guys to come out playing hard like we're going to the playoffs. That's what Roseberg said. He is going to demand the best out of these guys. Absolutely the best. So what if they're 4-11, according to him? He wants to finish 6-11. Because that's what you do. You don't give up. And it's against a division opponents, against the Chiefs and the Chargers in the next 2 games. You don't give up. If you do, you're not long for the NFL. That's for sure. That is absolutely for sure. So Rosberg is doing the right thing, putting his foot down, saying, nope, things are changing, guys. Attitude's changing. Atmosphere's changing. We are not doing the same thing because it didn't work. And I commend that 100%. I want to see a head coach. And I know he's only interim for a couple of games. I don't care. I want to see this team perform like they should. Like we all expected them to do. Like we thought it would happen back in September. I want the best. And I want them to end on a 2-game winning streak. Absolutely 2-game winning streak. You know, keep the Chiefs from getting a #1 spot. Keep the Chargers from getting a higher spot in the wild card. Make it tough on them. Be the spoiler. Be the Broncos we always wanted and hoped you would be this year. And I think Rosberg is on the right track. Absolutely. All right. Let's go to the Broncos have waived a cornerback. Uh-oh. Who'd they waive? Denver Broncos have waived cornerback Michael Ojemudia. He was a 3rd-round draft pick in the year 2020. He started 11 games as a rookie, but not much since because of major injuries. Has the house cleaning of the Bronco players begun? What do you guys think? You think the Bronco players are numbered now? You think there's going to be more cuts? More guys that aren't signed? We have a lot of guys that are free agents, unrestricted free agents, key guys that are unrestricted free agents. I didn't include that in my show tonight, and I probably should have. I'm sorry. But there is quite a number of unrestricted free agents. And I'll get into that probably next week's show after the Kansas City game. But we have the money. I wish I had 70 million or 70 billion. But no, we as Bronco fans know that the Walton Penner Group have the money to give these guys, these players. But there's a salary cap. You can't go above that. Even though if you're worth 70 billion, you can't go above that. Well, you can't go you can't go above what the ceiling is for the NFL. So they're not going to be able to keep everybody. And that's bothersome because there are some key players on that team. And I don't want to, I'm a Broncos fan. I don't want to lose any of these guys. I really don't. So has the house cleaning started with cutting Ojemudia? Was that a good move? Well, if he hasn't played and he's not productive, then yeah, that's a good move. But again, with all these Bronco injuries and this, that, I don't like to see any Broncos player cut or let go or waived or traded because they're Bronco players. I don't want to see that. But I understand if he's not productive, he's not on the field, then okay, I agree with it. I don't like it, but I agree with it. Okay, let's go to Bubba says, we have the 20th pick from San Francisco. Wow, it's that low already? Holy smokes. Come on, 49ers lose, man. Give us a higher pick. This sucks. Well, I guess it's better than 31st or 32nd. But, wow. We're giving Seattle, I think we're giving Seattle right now, Seattle's going to get the 4th pick or 5th pick because of us not being able to win. And we're going to get the 20th pick from San Francisco. That's not a good trade, guy. That's not a good trade at all. D-Rock says it's about time Michael Ojemudia is gone. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, D-Rock. I totally do. He wasn't productive. I thought he'd be a lot better when we drafted him in 2020. Hasn't turned out to be that. His injuries have really hampered him. And of course, when you have Justin Simmons back there at the safety, and you have Patrick Surtain, Ojemudia is not going to really get a whole lot of playing time. And then his injuries have really compounded that. So I agree with you. I think it's time. I think it's time they move on. And, I think a lot of other players are going to be gone for lack of production or injuries or whatever, because this ownership group doesn't really have any ties to these players. They don't have any ties whatsoever to any player, not even Russell Wilson. They didn't trade for him. That was under when I can't think of his name. Joe Ellis. When Joe Ellis was in charge, that was under his watch. That was under the trust. That wasn't under the Walton Penner ownership group. So they have zero ties with anybody on this team. So I'm just thinking, is that the first brick that's going to fall when it comes to players of the Broncos being cut, released, traded, or whatsoever? I don't know. I just think that there's going to be a lot of shaking going on, and it's going to be pretty massive in Broncos country. Oh, Bubba, don't tell me this. Seattle has the second pick? Where we sit right now, Seattle has the second pick? Oh, my gosh. Bubba, you just wanted to make me throw up. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. Well, hopefully we can knock that down a little bit by beating the Chiefs on Sunday, and then the Chargers the following week. So hopefully that'll help. Brad Smith says, hearing a lot of chatter on Jerry Jeudy, they better not trade him. I hope they don't. I like Jerry Jeudy. I absolutely like Jerry Jeudy. I really do. I think if it's between Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, I would say keep Jeudy. And as much as I don't want to say this, and it hurts to say it, because I really like Cortland Sutton, but I think if it comes down to Jeudy or Sutton, I think Sutton's the one that I would trade. I would keep Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy's been very productive in the last several games. He's been the man. And I want to keep him around. Cortland Sutton's been a disappointment of late. I don't know why. I don't know why he's not targeted more. I don't know why he's kind of fallen out of the graces of, I don't know if that was, falling out of the graces of Hackett, which obviously that's not going to happen anymore because Hackett's gone. Or is he falling out of the grace of Russell Wilson? Or maybe even now the graces of Clint Kubiak. I'm not sure. But to your point, I don't want to get rid of Jerry Jeudy whatsoever. I don't want to get rid of any Bronco player. But if I have to, I would say Cortland Sutton before Jerry Jeudy. Absolutely. All right. Top head coaching candidates for the Denver Broncos since the firing of Nathaniel Hackett. Initial reports out of Denver include Sean Payton. I'll get to that in a little bit. Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, and Eric Bieniemy. Rumors also have Michigan Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh as a possible candidate. Wait a minute. Jim Harbaugh would come out of college coaching and go back in the NFL? Well, why not? But, I don't like Harbaugh's attitude. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like his in-your-face approach. But I'll tell you what, if the Denver Broncos need that, then bring it on, baby. Bring it on. But here's the thing. Look at this. People say, well, Harbaugh, what has he done? Well, he coached the 49ers. Did pretty well there. He went to Michigan Wolverines, who had not been to the playoffs for, I don't know, since the beginning of time. And what did he do with them? He took them to the playoffs. Oh, wait a minute. Michigan also beat Ohio State, which has not happened in years. And they won their conference, which hasn't happened in years. under Jim Harbaugh, that is what's transpired. They're in a bowl game. They're prominent this year. Could Jim Harbaugh possibly be a candidate for the Denver Broncos head coach? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that the rumors are saying Harbaugh would like to get back in the NFL. And where better fit would he be than the Denver Broncos to revitalize this team? I'm not all in 100% on Harbaugh. Like I mentioned, I don't like his attitude. I don't like his in-your-face arrogance. But if I can put all that aside and we win games and we win championships, I don't care who's our head coach. I really don't. Because the bottom line is winning championships, having a successful team, what Broncos country has been all about, what we enjoyed in 2016 or 2015 with our championship Super Bowl 50, what we enjoyed in Super Bowl 32 and 33, winning 4 division titles with Peyton Manning as our head coach. I'm sorry, as our quarterback. Yeah, but that seems light years away. It really does, because we have been nothing but down since then. Do I welcome a Jim Harbaugh? Not with open arms. Me personally, I'm talking about myself. Me personally, no, I wouldn't. But if he comes in and he happens to be the head coach and we win games and he can do to the Denver Broncos what he's done to the Michigan Wolverines or for the Michigan Wolverines, yeah, heck yeah. But I'm leaning more towards a Dan Quinn. I would rather have Dan Quinn as our head coach because I think Dan Quinn would be a better fit for Russell Wilson. I don't think Russell Wilson really wants a in-your-face kind of guy like a Jim Harbaugh. I don't think that would work in Denver with Russell Wilson. Might work with other guys. I just don't think it would work with Russell Wilson. Dan Quinn would bring in Schottenheimer, hopefully, who has worked with Russell Wilson. So I welcome a Dan Quinn Schottenheimer team. I don't want Eric Bieniemy, and that's not because I don't think he may be good, but he would be another first-time head coach. I don't want that. I don't want a first-time head coach. Absolutely not. Sean Payton? Oh, I would love that. Absolutely love that. I don't think it's going to happen because Sean Payton, and I'll get to that in a minute. In fact, let me bring that up right now as I'm talking about it. Sean Payton, former head coach Sean Payton is putting together a staff that includes Vic Fangio as his defensive coordinator. Well, there's a problem right now. I don't see Vic Fangio wanting to go back to Denver. Are you kidding me? Vic Fangio was a former head coach, and now he's going to be the defensive coordinator on the Broncos. I don't see that happening. I don't even care if it was under Sean Payton. I still don't see it happening. My question to that would be to you guys out there, would you welcome a Sean Payton, Vic Fangio team to be the Broncos' new head coach and defensive coordinator? Would you want that, guys? Would you want a Sean Payton and Vic Fangio team? Or would you rather have a Dan Quinn and Schottenheimer team? Me personally, I'd rather have a Dan Quinn and Schottenheimer team. Because I don't think Sean Payton, although Sean Payton's a great head coach, don't get me wrong, he's phenomenal. I just don't think it would work with Vic Fangio coming back to the defensive coordinator. Now, he's a great defensive coordinator, don't get me wrong, absolutely. I'm just not sure that would ever happen. But hey, money talks, and we all know that the Walton Penner Group has enough money to make even Sean Payton and Vic Fangio say, okay, oh, babe, okay, you got it, man. Yeah, we'll sign it. Where's the dotted line? I'm doing it right now. Of course they would. Absolutely they would. They'd be foolish not to. I just don't think they're going to. That's all I'm saying. Just don't think they're going to. Okay, D-Rock says Dan Quinn or Frank Wright will be honestly ideal. Yeah, I said Dan Quinn for sure. Frank Wright, I'm not really sold on him, D-Rock. I'm really not. And I'll tell you why. He did okay in Indy, but Indy didn't really go anywhere. And sure, I mean, they had their franchise quarterback that decided to bail on him, and I can't remember his name. Help me out, guys. Anyways, they had their franchise quarterback in Indy, and things were going smooth, and then he bails. And so can I put all the blame on Frank Wright? Because then they brought in Philip Rivers, that didn't work. Then they brought in Matt Ryan, that's not working. So is it all on Frank Wright? Not necessarily, but he is the head coach. And just like I said before, head coaches are going to get the chopping block, just like a captain on a ship is going to get fired if things don't go right. Dan Quinn, I really, really like the idea of a Dan Quinn Schottenheimer team. I really do. I think that'd work great with Russell Wilson because he's worked with Schottenheimer, or I should say Schottenheimer's worked with him. So I think that would be the ideal ticket. I just don't know if Dan Quinn is going to want to come to Denver after he was slighted last year. And I know I've talked to many of people, and Madungus Creevy has chimed in and said, hey, anybody would like to be. There's only 32 head coaches in the NFL. Of course they want to be a head coach. That's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is this. Would Dan Quinn want to be the head coach of the Broncos because the Broncos are in disarray, dysfunctional, out of sync, out of kilter, arguing with each other, fighting with each other? Does he want to come into that mess? Well, hey, some coaches look at it and go, hey, put me in that situation. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play, that kind of thing. Don Henley song. Reason why they want to do it, some coaches say, I can fix it. I can make it better. Like I said, look at Jim Harbaugh in Michigan Wolverines. Made them better. Some coaches thrive on that. Other coaches want to come into a ready-made system where all they have to do is tweak it a little and make it their own. I don't know which one that Dan Quinn is. Is Dan Quinn a kind of guy that wants to come in and just clean house and start over and say, I can make this work. I've got this under control. I can turn this team around. Or is Dan Quinn a kind of guy that goes, I'd rather come into a more solid, stable organization, take over. Well, if you're a solid, stable organization and you're winning, your head coach probably isn't fired. So you usually only fire your head coach when things aren't going well. So maybe that whole theory that I threw out there is meaningless. But I hope you guys get the point. I don't know if Dan Quinn wants to be the Broncos head coach. I don't even know if Sean Payton does, because I've heard rumors he doesn't. And he hasn't said why, but I've heard rumors that he doesn't. So between Dan Quinn, Eric Bieniemy, Frank Wright, or Jim Harbaugh, I would lean heavily towards Dan Quinn and Schottenheimer as the offensive coordinator. That's where I would like to go. D-Rock, thank you so much for, I don't know why I couldn't think of Andrew Luck. I mean, Luck, they're both the same, I guess. But anyways, yeah. Thank you so much, D-Rock, for clarifying that. Also, D-Rock says, I don't have a problem with Vic as defensive coordinator, but let's be real. He's not coming back. There's no way he's coming back. I know that. Absolutely no, he's not coming back. Head coach Dan Quinn, offensive coordinator Schottenheimer, and defensive coordinator Evero sounds very, very nice. D-Rock, you nailed it. Totally nailed it. Absolutely. That would be my Christmas present under the Broncos orange and blue tree heading into the 2023 season. I will sign off on that right now. Check mark. You got it, buddy. You absolutely got it, D-Rock. Dan Quinn, head coach, offensive coordinator, Schottenheimer, Evero as defensive coordinator. Let's get it done. Hey, hello, Penner, Greg Penner, George Payton. Hey, we just recommended our head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. You listening? Because I think we got the right ticket, guys. Think we got the right ticket. And I will tell you what, D-Rock, you nailed that right on the head. Great call. Okay, guys, we are going to wrap it up this Friday show right before New Year's weekend. We're going to wrap it up with the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, guys. Yep. At Kansas City. The 4-11 Denver Broncos are going to take on the 12-3 Kansas City Chiefs. New Year's Day will feature a new interim head coach and a Broncos team that can't get any worse. Or can it? Well, now we got injuries. Now we have injuries. Jerry Jeudy did not practice and is questionable for the game against Kansas City. Dulcich was placed on IR. He's done. Who's Wilson going to throw it to? He doesn't have Dulcich now. And Jerry Jeudy's banged up. We got Cortland Sutton, but he hasn't been targeted much. So we're going into this game worse than what I thought we could be. This is an absolutely preposterous season. It's unimaginable. I mean, unimaginable. Injuries, losses, dysfunctionality. I mean, I saw an article. Mundungus Creevy sent me a clipping where John Elway, I think it was in his 6th season or 9th season, his record was 5 wins, and I think that was back in 16 games. So it was 5 wins, 11 losses. Well, we're at 4-11 right now. And I know John Elway kept his job, and we won 2 Super Bowls. Everything was well and good. The point of the article was, if the Broncos finish 6-11 or 5-12 or 4-13, we can't give up on Russell Wilson. That's not what this is about. This isn't about giving up on Russell Wilson, because the Broncos aren't giving up on Russell Wilson. We've got him for at least 2 to 3 more years without taking a major hit. This is about the Broncos. Can we win a game against Kansas City? And now we have more injuries, and we have Dulcich on IR. So I guess it can get worse. I guess it can. Jerry Roseberg has stated that he wants the last 2 games to be played as if the Broncos are headed to the playoffs. But they're not. But he wants them to play like they are, because that's how you get the best out of your team, your players. Don't give up. Roseberg does not want to give up on this team. He doesn't want the players to give up on themselves or the organization. The fans deserve the best from the players. When you go to a game or you watch it on TV, you're supporting them. People say, well, you don't support the Denver Broncos. You live in Southern California. You don't go to the games. I support them. I support with hats, merchandise, my flag back. Well, where is it? Back here? My flag, I support them big time. I got the NFL Sunday Ticket app. I watch the games. I'm supporting. I know, guys, it goes to the NFL, but inadvertently it goes to the teams as well. Merchandise goes to the teams. Okay, I support them. And the fans, Broncos country deserves the players to play their best. Not to lose 51-14 and not give a heck. No. We deserve the players to play their best. Just like the players want the fans to show up and show support. It's a two-way street. And Roseberg is saying exactly that. He wants the Broncos players and the team in the last 2 games to play as if they're going to the playoffs. Give it your all. Make it rough for Kansas City to get that number 1 spot. Knock them down. Give them a loss. Same with the Chargers. Don't let the Chargers move up in the wild card spot. Knock them down. Make them earn wherever they're going to go into playoffs. Don't make it easy for them. Play this game and these 2 games like it's our time to go to the playoffs. That's how you got to play. That's what he's saying. All right. He also said he wants accountability and will hold them accountable for everything. Their play on the field, how they practice, how they conduct themselves on the sidelines, fewer penalties, don't make stupid plays, keep your head in the game, that kind of thing. He's going to hold them accountable. Do you think he cares about this team? Absolutely he does. Maybe he's auditioning for Broncos head coach at 23. I don't think he'll get it. But who's to say? What if the Broncos win their last 2 games against Kansas City and against the Chargers, not by 14-13, but handily? Let's say they win it 27-10, 24-13. What if the Broncos beat the Chiefs handily and the Chargers handily? Does Roseberg now become a front runner for head coach? I don't think so, but it's something to contemplate. Absolutely. Now, of course, people can say, well, Kansas City laid down. They've already got the number 2 seed wrapped up, blah, blah, blah. No, they don't. They don't have the number 2 seed wrapped up officially. And the Chargers are sitting right now at number 5 in the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5, I believe. We could knock them down to number 6 with a win over them. They don't know. We don't know. But why lay an egg against the Chiefs and the Chargers? They're division rivals. Send a message. We haven't beaten the Chiefs, I think, since 1912. Of course, I'm being facetious, but you know what I'm saying. We haven't beaten the Chiefs for freaking years. Why not send a statement? I don't care if they don't play the regulars. Doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. But of course they're going to play the regulars because they want to hang on to that number 2 spot. But if Denver goes into Kansas City and Arrowhead and shocks everybody and gets a win, yeah, it sends a message. That sends a message that this team hasn't had. And that is accountability, passion, energy, desire to win, regardless. Run through a brick wall for your head coach. And that's what Rosenberg is demanding. He wants these guys to play tough, regardless of the record, regardless of the team you're playing, regardless of your circumstances. Get out there and play tough. I continue. My question is this. Will the players respond to Roseberg and produce, or throw in the towel and wait till next year? What do you guys think? You guys think that the players are going to play hard against Kansas City? Or are they just going to say, you know what? We only got 2 games left. I'm not going to go out there and possibly get myself injured and then maybe, have a career-ending injury or, be gone for 6 months, something. Am I really going to go out there and play really, really hard? Yeah, because you're getting paid millions. That's what you're supposed to do. It's your job. Just like anybody out there has a job. When I had a job, if I would go into work and just sit there and kick back and go, I don't feel like doing anything, I think I'll take it easy and stuff. No, I'm going to get reprimanded. And that's what these guys are going to get under Roseberg. They're going to get reprimanded. They're going to be held accountable. Absolutely. So let me ask that question. Anybody out there want to respond? Do the Bronco players lay an egg against Kansas City this Sunday and not come out and play hard? Or are they going to go through a brick wall for Jerry Roseberg and say, you know what? We're going to go out on a high note. We are going to turn the page. We're sorry about Hackett, but hey, we're moving forward. We're moving on, and we're going to get back to being the Broncos of championship years. I say they come out and they play hard. I absolutely say they come out and play hard. Because if they don't, Roseberg's going to have an awful lot to say about it, and he has an awful lot of authority and backing from Greg Penner and George Payton. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I missed something. I got to go back to that real quick before I wrap up this show. I missed it. Let me get to it real quick. George, when Hackett was the coach, he always reported to George Payton. That's not the case anymore. When Greg Penner and George Payton met and they decided to fire Nathaniel Hackett, Greg Penner also stripped George Payton of one of his duties, and that is this. Hackett reported to George Payton directly on a daily basis as to how things were going, and he reported to him, and then they went on from there. That's not going to happen with the new coach. Not even going to happen with Roseberg. As of immediately, the head coach, whether it be interim Roseberg or the brand new head coach that's coming in for 2023 and hopefully beyond, will report directly to Greg Penner. Now, that's an NFL, that's the NFL norm, is to report to the CEO. And the reason being is the CEO has more authority, obviously, than the general manager. Now, people have asked me directly through text and phone calls or whatnot, does this mean that George Payton is no longer the GM? No. George Payton is still the GM. He's still going to be involved in hiring the new head coach. But Greg Penner is also going to be side by side with George Payton in major decisions. That's trades, that's draft picks, that's signing bonus or whatever. That's extensions. Hello, extensions. Ring a bell? Yeah. The ownership group signed off on Russell Wilson getting that extension. But going forward, Greg Penner is going to be more and more involved in day-to-day activities. As a CEO, he's going to oversee things pertain to the Broncos, and the head coach has to report to Greg Penner directly, not to George Payton like it was with Hackett, but to Greg Penner. Is that a step and a move that is absolutely necessary? Oh, absolutely, 100% necessary. 100% necessary. Because think about it, guys. When Hackett was hired, he was hired by George Payton. So George Payton and Hackett basically, I wouldn't say they're buddy-buddy, but they had a very friendly relationship. As a CEO in Greg Penner, sure, he's going to maybe develop a friendship and a relationship with the head coach, obviously, but it's not going to be buddy-buddy. It's going to be business as usual, or business as it should be, I should say. That's the difference, guys. The Walton Penner Group is going to run the Broncos like a business, not like a buddy-buddy, camping trip going out, with their best buddy and going fishing or golfing or whatever. No, it's not that. It's not that anymore, guys. And that's what the Broncos need, is a leader in ownership, a leader in a head coach, and a leader in a quarterback. And it starts now with Greg Penner taking over the head coaching, I should say the head coach reports to Greg Penner and not George Payton. So I wanted to clarify. I'm sorry, guys. I missed that in my notes. I know I had it. I just overshot it somehow. Okay. Let me go here. Brad Smith says, thanks for the show. Always enjoy watching from Australia. Oh, thanks for chiming in, Brad. Absolutely appreciate it from down under. May you have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. You're going to have a New Year a lot sooner than we are, because I know you're 15 hours, 16 hours ahead, something like that. So you're probably already into Saturday. So I wouldn't doubt that. So thanks, Brad, for always chiming in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your support, and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is there in Australia. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. D-Rock says, I haven't seen our depth chart as of late. Is Mahomes playing? I don't know if he is. I would assume that he is. If he isn't, then apparently they feel that they can't lose the number 2 spot in the standings. But I would think that they would want to try and get the number 1. They're only a game behind Buffalo, I believe. The Chiefs have only lost 3. I believe Buffalo's only lost 2 or maybe 3. Buffalo holds a tiebreaker because they beat the Chiefs earlier in the season. So if the Chiefs feel that they don't have a chance to get the number 1 spot, I don't know why they would. I don't know why they wouldn't try. Not only that, but why wouldn't the Chiefs want to keep that win streak against the Broncos intact? If Mahomes isn't playing, that just makes it a little bit easier for the Broncos to try and get the win and break that losing streak that the Chiefs have a stranglehold on the Broncos as of now. So my opinion, I haven't seen it either, D-Rock. I haven't. But I would assume, and I would probably bet my bottom dollar that Patrick Mahomes plays. And if the Chiefs have a huge lead, let's say, I don't know, 21-3, then going in the second half, then probably Patrick Mahomes comes out. So in my opinion, that's the only time that they wouldn't play him. But don't quote me on it. I'm not sure. I have not seen the roster either. So I'm just going on what I think and feel that Patrick Mahomes will play that game. Okay, I say the final score. And this is because I think the Denver Bronco players are going to play their hearts out. I think and feel in my gut that they're going to play hard for Roseburg. They're going to want to try and get a win for the outgoing Hackett. As much as players, really wish that, they played harder for him. I heard, numerous comments I heard that from Wilson. I heard that from Justin Simmons. I heard it from, what's his name? Patrick Surtain said the same thing. Just wish we could have played harder. It's more on us because we're the guys on the field that have to get it done. And I understand that they don't want to, say any negative things against Hackett. So I get that. But I really think and feel the Bronco players and the team is going to come out more focused, more determined to win this game, not only because it's against the Chiefs and they want to break that losing streak, but also because they want to get a win for Hackett, even though he's not there anymore. They want to get it and say, hey, this one's for you. So I really put my prediction on the Broncos win this game. I have it Denver 23, Kansas City 21. I don't know if that's going to happen. I haven't been right hardly. The last time I was right was against the Arizona Cardinals. So I don't know if I'm going to be right. I hope so. I really want to be right. I want the Broncos to go and win the last 2 games to end the season on a more of an up note. So that's what I'm hoping. Denver 23, Kansas City 21. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And before I check out of here, just want to say thank you to all the guys in the chat, to Bubba, Muhammad Badri, D-Rock, and then, of course, Brad Smith down under. Just want to say thanks, guys, for chiming in the chat room. Always appreciate it. Always love answering your comments and your takes that you have. It makes the show much more engaging and much more enjoyable for myself and hopefully for you guys as well. All right, guys, until next Friday, we have shows throughout the entire week. We have a show on Sunday, The Neighborhood. I'm going to be on there with Mudungus Creevy. Check us out, 10 o'clock Pacific, 11 Mountain, 12 Central, and 1 Eastern. Check us out on The Neighborhood. We'll be there live giving our thoughts and comments about the game. Hopefully the Broncos get a win. Okay, other shows are Monday, the Cluster Puck, Tuesday, the 5280 podcast, Wednesday, the Wild Wild West, and then on Friday, this show once again, the first Friday show of the 2023 year, Broncos Breakdown, hosted by me, Broncos Bill, will be live next Friday. Till then, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful, safe New Year's. Celebrate accordingly, but be very, very safe, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys in the chat room next Friday. Till then, Take care. Have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful New Year's. We will talk to you in 2023. Take care. Bye-bye.